Vice News did a fantastic piece of investigative reporting that I wanted to share with you. It turns out that it's really not just Flint, Michigan that has poisoned water. It's many other places around the U.S., and even this particular segment doesn't cover all of the places that have poisoned water, but it really dives into some specific areas here. So take a look and then we'll discuss.
Louisiana's water system is consistently ranked among the worst in the country. The American Society of Civil Engineers gave the state a D- last year. Recently, the governor declared 10 local systems to be the most distressed in the state, meaning out of compliance and lacking the funds to fix it. Enterprise is one of them. It's not the water here that's bad, it's the pipes. The water gets contaminated on the way to the house. The system is almost 50 years old, and the treatment facilities are in desperate need of repair.
I need 45 seconds after we start.
After we start.
Okay, go.
75-year-old Wilma Subra is a chemist and microbiologist who's been uncovering dangerous water systems since the 1980s. She, along with other water researchers, started testing the water in Enterprise last year while investigating other systems in the area.
So this was the first straw.
She found high concentrations of iron and manganese, which turn the water brown.
This treatment system does not have a filter. Therefore, all of that precipitated stuff is distributed to the community.
Leaky distribution pipes mean the system sometimes can't hold enough chlorine to prevent dangerous bacteria from growing. It was, in scientific terms, a big mess.
Oh, come on. Give me enough.
While the water in most homes met the minimum safety standards, Subra doesn't think people should be drinking it.
Other than the ones that have high levels of lead in their water, it's safe from a health perspective, but drinking water that has all of that precipitate in, that orange mud, that's not acceptable to have to drink that kind of water and pay for it.
In your mind, is it okay to consume it?
No, it should not be consumed. You wouldn't give it to a person on chemo. You wouldn't give it to a baby in their water or their sippy cup. You'd want them to have better protection.
Was there a way to forestall this problem?
There was a way if we would have done it as we moved through the years, but we needed to have been watching all along.
Down the road in St. Joseph, it took a public health emergency in 2016 for state officials to step in and do something about the water.
Nobody can afford to pay their bills and buy all this extra water, and it's truly affecting our children.
Residents had complained for years about their tap water's foul smell and weird colors. In a town of about 1,000 people, 90 homes tested above safe levels of lead. In one, there was as much as 100 times the acceptable limit.
We spent $7 trillion in Iraq. When all is said and done by the year 2053, total expenditure will be $7 trillion. Add another $2 trillion on top of that for Afghanistan. So that's $9 trillion. How many trillions of dollars did we spend to bail out Wall Street when they were the ones who bankrupted their companies and crashed the economy? How much in corporate welfare do we give every year to ExxonMobil? $4 billion, I think it is. And Walmart. How much money did we just hand over to the rich for a gratuitous tax cut for the top 1%? So we have, it's all about priorities, moral priorities. We have endless amounts of money for stuff like that. Our corrupt government does. But to make sure that our citizens are not being poisoned, we have nothing. They go on in this piece, by the way, to explain how every time that they talk to a federal government official in various agencies, they would basically tell them, like, yeah, fix it yourself. They would tell the town, take care of that yourself. We just covered a story the other day. $280 million is now going to be spent to build a new drone base in Niger, but also surrounding infrastructure. Because there is no infrastructure there right now, so in order to have the drone base, you need to build the surrounding infrastructure. So we would rather build brand new infrastructure in Niger than in Louisiana. This government is broken. This system is broken. We need a radical realignment of priorities. One of the top issues, top 5, needs to be upgrading our infrastructure with a New Deal and making it so that instead of getting a grade of D+, which is what we have now, according to the Society of Civil Engineers report, we have an A+. We should try to make our infrastructure the best in the world. Right now, it's one of the worst in the developed world. We're poisoning our own citizens simply because we don't want to pay to update the infrastructure. By the way, how many other outlets are covering this story? Jordan Sheridan has done a great job covering the Flint crisis and the issue with the infrastructure there and the poisoned water. How many mainstream media outlets are covering this? I doubt you'll find any. In a world that made sense, this Vice News report would have gone viral and every mainstream media organization would have covered it till the cows come home. But they didn't. They decided to talk about Stormy Daniels instead. Broken system. Listen, it's because they're so shitty that we are at the point where we have become popular. It's not because we are so good, it's that they are so bad. And that's terrible. I really wish they were better. And even if it cut into the number of viewers of my own show, I'd take it because the net benefit is still better for the country if mainstream media did a half-decent job.